What is the longest fight scene that you ever did?
The longest one is probably Avengement, because I don't think that has any records for being the longest, but it's certainly, it's like 4.5 minutes, I think.
Like the actual final cut of the fight, it was 5
Yeah,
minutes.
I think so.
Yeah. How long did it take you to design
that was to design over a week, because we were doing the whole film. So we'd do a few days on it, and then we'd take a break and do some other bits, and then we came back to it, and we had a few drafts of that one. So I'd say maybe a week and a half.
Which is actually, I would think it would take longer, to be fair, because such a long fight sometimes.
Choreography is quite quick to do. It might not always be perfect, and then you go back and you realise, we've done that same move twice because we did it on 2 different days, and we were thinking, and then you go back. But as long as choreography is not that hard to create. But sometimes it's tricky where there's difficulties, like I said, about putting guns in fights. That's always a pain in the ass, because the moment you have a gun,
then nothing makes sense.
Nothing makes sense, especially if you've got 2 people starting this far apart and they're not allowed to shoot each other. You're like, well, how do I get into fighting distance and not shoot someone? Or there's other constraints, someone's got a broken leg or certain beats that they have to meet, but it doesn't quite make sense with how they're getting there. They can take a little bit longer because you need to sleep on it sometimes and kind of come up with a draft and then go away and think about it. But choreography doesn't take that long.
This one is with Scott Adkins, right? Yeah, who is a legend in the action world, right?
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to film it?
So I think, because this changed a few times, I think we got 3 days in the end. But originally it was scheduled for 2 days. And Scott and I and the other choreographer, Luc Lafontaine, we kind of pushed for that schedule to be changed, because we were like, I don't think we're going to get it all.
Yeah.
And we argued and eventually, mainly through Scott being able to pull his weight a little bit, we got them to change the schedule. So I think we got 3 days. Might have even been 3.5, because I think we overlapped a little bit with something else. But that was very tight, and we did cut a lot of the original plan.
So you had to kind of to meet the deadline, and you knew you wouldn't be able to put everything in. Yeah. And still 4 minutes something.
Yeah.
All right.
But that really is because Scott can do it.
Yeah.
And rarely did we do more than 2 takes. Sometimes 3 if it's a tricky bit, or if it's a tricky angle. But you don't really want to be doing more than 3 takes with a group that can do it. When you've got actor versus actor, or when you've got multiple people involved, or there's lots of different aspects, like there might be special effects or things that can go wrong, then it takes a lot longer. Especially as well if you've got to stop for the things that catch you out, is when you've got to stop to add things. So if you've got lots of blood, change continuity. So we're constantly having to stop, add this blood, stop, add this blood. Or where costume gets damaged, you've got to keep stopping to rechange everything. And then when you've got prosthetics and special effects and things, it takes even longer, and armory as well. Because you might be swapping guns, or you might be putting blanks in them at one stage and taking them out, and having rubber guns and then real guns. And, so you've got to factor in how many other things are going to affect it, rather than just the time it takes to shoot that choreography.
Is that your favorite project that you worked on?
That was good fun. I think it was more in hindsight that I enjoyed it than the shoot itself was very stressful, because it was very tight, and also because it was the first time I was working as a choreographer for Scott. Prior to that, I'd worked with Scott a few times, but he'd had other coordinators, other choreographers. So I understood that this was putting a lot of trust into me, but also I had a lot to
offer,
to kind of, to live up to. I had a lot of pressure to do it. And the director was an action director, so Jesse wasn't, didn't apply pressure, but certainly expected high quality.
All right. And so do you think you lived up to expectations?
I think so.
Yeah.
I hope so. No. But everyone's happy because we got nominated. But and the film in general got a lot of praise critically, and audiences love it, and I still see people talking about it now. So yeah, there's occasionally someone will mention it, that was one of their favourite films that Scott did, or that was a great action movie. So it's nice that it's one of those films that keeps coming up. So yeah, very proud of that.